Hello there. My name is Charlie from Lean Systems, and today we're going to be talking about how to spot AI-ready clients. These are 8 buying signals we've been able to identify through working on the go-to-market strategy side with AI consultants. So today's video is going to be relevant for you if you are an AI consultant, an AI agency owner, an AI software founder, essentially anyone who's trying to sell AI and implement AI solutions into companies. So first and foremost, and perhaps the most obvious one, is evidence of a legacy tech stack being used in the prospect's organization. So things that we can look for here would be companies using outdated tools, manual processes, or multiple disconnected systems. In the case of a larger organization, they might have 2 CRMs, for example. Where can we actually find this proof of legacy tech stack, let's say? One tool we look at is called Built With. We also scrape job descriptions which mention specific tools. You can also use a tool called Apollo and/or Clay. They've actually got lists of companies who are using a particular technology. So for example, if your AI solution is perfect for companies who waste a lot of time entering manual data into CRMs, you can actually find huge lists of HubSpot users, for example, on Apollo. Why it matters, I'm probably preaching to the converted here, but legacy systems clearly present opportunities for efficiency gains with a very easy to demonstrate ROI. As I said, a lot of these systems require manual data entry, and specifically when it comes to disconnected systems, create a lot of waste within organizations. But that must be very clear for anyone watching this video. The second one is competitor AI implementation. This is very, very good from an urgency perspective in terms of getting a prospect across the line. So what to look for here? AI initiatives from industry competitors. What's a little bit harder to do is to identify this buying signal. So one thing that we look at is industry news, say press releases from larger companies or company blog posts on their own websites. We've also found that Google Alerts work well for this. So this would be using competitor name plus AI ML. You can also look at LinkedIn posts, scraping LinkedIn posts from senior members of certain organizations for the keyword AI. That can be a good signal as well. Why it matters, as I mentioned before, if competitors are implementing AI, there's a reason for that. It's because AI has found solution market fit within this specific sector. And that is going to create urgency within your prospect who might not have taken those steps. So it accelerates the decision-making process, which is why we really like this buying signal. Recent fundraising or acquisition. So this data is actually very readily available. And what we look for here are simply new funding rounds. If it's a company who might be at the earlier stage of their life cycle, this could be VC investment. If it's a larger company at a later stage of their life cycle, this could be raising debt, or more generally, major investment announcements. And as I said, this data is very readily available. We can look at specific data providers like Crunchbase or PitchBook. We can also look at press releases such as Business Wire and PR Newswire, because generally speaking, if a company has raised funding or gone forward with an acquisition, 9 times out of 10, they want to be public about that. Why it matters? Few reasons. First of which is obviously the company now has budget for a number of strategic initiatives which they might have wanted to implement prior but didn't have the budget to justify. Acquisitions require integrations of 2 processes, and that can lead to the first issue we discussed, which is when there's multiple disconnected systems, AI can be a solution to plug those systems together. Next up is cloud migration. So what to look for here would be public cloud adoption, data warehouse implementations. And again, we can often find this for larger companies through press releases. And even for smaller companies, we can look at AWS, Azure, and GCP partner directories in order to actually find which companies are listed on there, which indicates companies who have made this migration. And why does it matter? Well, of course, cloud infrastructure being present within an organization is a prerequisite for enterprise AI because it removes the technical barriers to AI implementation. So if a company has just undergone cloud migration, that creates really good timing to approach them with an AI solution, because they're now able to get the most out of an AI solution. on this basis. Next up is recent data or AI leadership changes. So things that we look for here would be new chief data officer being appointed, head of AI or machine learning, director of data science, any kind of position which indicates that the company is making some large strategic movement towards focusing on AI, machine learning, or data writ large. Where can we find this? LinkedIn is our best friend here. So you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator itself. We prefer to use other tools such as Clay or Apollo to get this data. We can also look at company press releases as well and scrape those to look for mentions of these type of roles. Why does it matter? Very clearly, new leadership of this nature indicates organizational commitment to AI and typically comes with a budget allocation. These new leaders need early wins to prove themselves, and they might need some help in implementing the strategic initiatives that they want to put in place, which will position yourself as an AI consultant, AI implementation specialist, AI agency owner to actually come in and assist them with those strategic initiatives at the start of their term. AI ML job openings, similar to the prior example, but more junior within the organization. So we look for multiple data science or machine learning, engineering, essentially any related role. Where can we find it? Again, LinkedIn, or the multiple tools which allow you to scrape LinkedIn data, as I mentioned before. We can also check out the Indeed API. To be honest, we find that LinkedIn serves our needs in terms of looking at hiring as a buying signal. We can look at company career pages and scrape those too. Why does it matter? Well, of course, building an AI team signals that a company is transitioning from the planning phase to the implementation phase, and they're actually looking to take action. So we can insert ourselves as a solution to the problem that they're trying to solve internally. And there's a high chance that it could be cheaper to work with an external provider versus actually hiring and going through that entire process with new hires. Industry conference participation. So what should we look for here? Attendance or speaking at AI-focused events. We can generally find event attendee lists, conference apps, and scrape those apps, and speaker rosters in the case that people are speaking at conferences. Conference participation is a less strong buying signal because it usually indicates that the prospect is slightly higher up in terms of the awareness level, but it does indicate that they're actively researching and interested in exploring AI solutions for their business. So more of an evaluation phase of the buying journey. These prospects might not necessarily be at the decision or action taking stage quite yet. And finally, AI content engagement. So what should we look for here? Clearly, consistent engagement with AI topics and educational content. Where can we find this? Again, LinkedIn, scraping LinkedIn user profile activity and seeing whether it is related to AI or data related posts and content. Content consumption, similar to conference attendance, shows that they're in the active research and knowledge building phase before making any type of implementation decisions. So it can be worth engaging with these prospects when they're at the earliest stage of their buying journey and inserting ourselves as a potential partner if they do go ahead with implementation. Now, of course, if you want to actually be able to build lists to target these specific buying signals within your ICP, you need to have a process, a system, some infrastructure for doing that. This falls into what we call intent-driven lead generation, and it's one of the things that we do at Lean Systems. One thing that we find particularly useful is actually combining two buying signals. So for example, if a company has just gone through recent funding and they exhibit that they're using a legacy tech stack, that's a sensational opportunity to hit that company with personalized, targeted outreach, which really presses on the potential pain points that they're suffering from. If this kind of thing sounds interesting and you'd like to discuss go-to-market strategy with ourselves, there's a link in the description to our website. I urge you to take a look and book in a call because we'd love to speak with you about how we can revolutionize your go-to-market strategy. Thank you for watching and take care.